Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. I don't know why companies don't take this kind of thing more seriously. If your employees would steal from their coworkers, they'd also steal from you. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Nothing you can do about stolen food? Okay. Over 15 years ago, my husband was a nurse technician at a private hospital in a small town in Brazil. At the hospital, there was a constant problem of food being stolen from the employees' fridge. There were constant complaints, but the administration would just ignore them. One day, my husband brought a pot of cream cheese worth 2 reais, about 50 cents, put it in the fridge, and when his break came, he saw it missing. He went to HR to report the theft, and they told him that since it was not hospital property, there was nothing they could do. My husband said, "Is that so?" Turned around and left. He went to the phone and called the cops, asking them to come because there was a theft. He didn't tell them what was stolen. Now, private hospitals in Brazil have a big thing about image. So when 2 cop cars arrived at the front of the hospital, everyone from patients, employees, HR, and even the top administration came to see what was going on. One of the cops that arrived ended up being one of my husband's uncles, so he just went straight to ask him what happened. My husband, with the most serious expression, just told him loud enough for everyone to hear that he wanted to make an official report that someone had stole his 50-cent pot of cream cheese. There was a general silence before his uncle asked, "Are you serious? If I knew this was about a 50-cent pot of cream cheese, I would not have come and would have told you to go to the station to make a report if you wanted." My husband just answered with a smile, "I know, that's why I didn't say what was stolen, and now you have to make a report," which he did. Obviously, the police wouldn't do anything about it, but because the whole circus that my husband created, the next week the hospital installed a camera right in front of the employee's fridge, and the food theft finally stopped. And our second story. Flip-flop Karen. Yesterday, Sunday, I went to visit my son, daughter-in-law, and grandson to deliver some food my wife made. Lasagna, baby. When my wife makes lasagna, everybody gets some. Daughter-in-law is in bed as she had hurt her back on Friday and it was still giving her issues. Been there, done that. Sucks. I'm playing with my grandson and my son mentions he's going to take him to the grocery store to pick up a few things so daughter-in-law doesn't have to worry about going. Grandson's cutting molars and not in a very good mood. I offer to go with him to the store to expedite the process as it's on my way home. We take separate cars and meet up, start chopping, and are knocking it out, me grabbing things and my son entertaining little Mr. Cranky Pants. We stopped in the pet food/supplies aisle as he needed kitty litter. I grab it and leave, heading over to the dairy aisle. One more thing to get, and we are out of here. This pet food aisle is set up as a dog food/supplies on one end, a cooler with fresh pet food, bird food/hamster food, etc., then cat food supplies on the opposite end. While leaving the aisle, I did hear someone yell, "Hey," but paid it no mind. While walking to the dairy aisle, I heard a faint slap, 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 slap. That's the unmistakable sound of flip-flops. We live in Florida, and flip-flops are a way of life. Hell, when it gets cold here, there's some who wear them with socks, LOL. Walking in the dairy aisle, still hearing these slap, 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 grab the butter, and as we're turning the corner to head to the registers, slap, 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 slap. "Hey, stop running from me. I've been chasing you for 10 minutes. I need help. Where is..." Insert some random dog food. She was visibly out of breath. We both turn around and right away she starts in about chasing us down, blah, blah, blah. But you could tell she was confused as we're not dressed anywhere close to what employees wear as they wear green uniforms. She kept staring at our shirts. Me with a Steppenwolf t-shirt complete with a large wolf head and my son with a Donkey Kong t-shirt. Not ready to admit defeat yet, she tried to say something else and... At this moment, my grandson sticks his arms straight out and starts waving his hands around saying no. Yep, we both lost it and started laughing so hard we were in tears. Just said, "Don't work here," turned around and continued to the registers without incident. She stood there, mouth gaping. She ran down to the other end of the pet aisle, past 3 other aisles, then ran down the entire length of the dairy aisle in her flip-flops to chase down 2 men and a baby to ask about some random dog food. Slap, 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 slap. And I bet she never thought of just walking calmly up to the customer service counter, which was likely much closer and with trapped employees right there instead. And our next story. These wonderful moments where you tell a customer something and they immediately ignore it. So this happened twice yesterday within an hour. The manager who does the ordering at my store was out sick for a week, and for some reason the other managers didn't pick up the slack and do the ordering in his place. So our store right now is very bare. We're out of so many things. Our cooler's empty right now. You could skateboard through it and not bump into any of our boxes. Specifically for this story, we're out of a lot of our single cans of beers. Now, single cans, the 24-ounce ones, are kept in a cooler behind the register. This is because there was a really big problem of people taking cans and walking out without paying. So now if you want, say, a 24-ounce of Mike's, we have to get it for you, like with cigarettes. We were all out of our tall cans of Bud Light, Budweiser, and Natty Daddy. This one guy who buys like half a case of Natties every day came in and said he wanted 6 Natties, and I had to tell him we're out, and there's something he wanted instead. I said I wanted 6 Natty Daddies, and then a few seconds later, it was just that, oh, you're out. Like I just said, we're out. He grumbled and said he needed a minute to figure out what he wanted, and I tried to be helpful and said everything he saw in the case right now we had a full shelf of, except the natural ice. We just have 1 can of ice left. He immediately responded that he wanted natural ice, so I get him our last can. I wanted 3. I just kind of stared at him, trying my best not to let the irritation show. As I said, we only had 1 can left. He claims he didn't hear me. I wanted to respond that no, he wasn't listening, but didn't because some things you don't say out loud. And before you say hearing problems, I know the guy, he isn't hard of hearing. He's just one of those people who actively choose to not listen to what employees are saying. The other one, I don't know what was going on with him. He was on his phone basically screaming into it as he talked, and maybe that's why he ignored what I said. Wanted a whole case, 12 cans, worth of our tall cans. 6 high gravities, then asked for 6 Budweisers. I had to explain we are out of Budweisers, and he said 6 Bud Heavies, which I later learned was apparently another name for Budweiser. I assumed he meant Bud Light, which didn't change anything because we'd sold out of that on Sunday. This went on for 4 times. Him saying Bud and me explaining that we're out and offering different drinks. Coors, Miller, Bud Light Lime, Busch Light, Steel Reserve, etc. Did my best to keep a customer service smile and tone. Nope, nothing worked. He pulled away from the phone and asked how hard it was to understand he wanted a Bud Heavy, and I think he finally realized when I said one last time that we didn't have any, that we really don't have any single cans. So he shuffled away and came back with one of those 6-packs of 16-ounce grumbling about how I wasted his time. Some people just don't have listening skills, do they? I'm sure some of y'all know what it's like dealing with this. And our last story. Sorry, lady, but this is private property. So we own a house that's tucked back away and is on a river. I have a neighbor that has no river access, so I let him and his kids walk across my property to put in their raft because I like him. One day, a car pulls up on the gravel road and parks right in front of my house, which is pretty unusual since the road is private and other than UPS, no one ever comes down it. EM equals entitled mom, BC equals bratty kids, MT equals mortified teen. Out pops the bratty kids, I'm guessing in the 8 to 9 year range. A guy who looks about 13 and their mom. Weird. Okay, maybe they're lost. GPS gets weird out here. Like they own the place, they start walking across my yard to the river with toys and tubes and baskets galore. I'm like, all right, maybe someone else is in the car and dropped them off and they're just going to tube down the river? Kind of jerkish, but whatever. Nope, they plunk down a blanket and the kids start tearing around my yard. To be clear, my yard is perfectly mowed and is obviously not a wilderness area, so I go out and say, WTF? Me. Hi, how's it going? Ma'am, this is private property. EM, actually, this is a public river access. Me, no ma'am, this is 100% my property, no trespassing signs and everything. EM, sorry, no, this is a public river access. I'm confused as hell. This is definitely not public anything. Me, no ma'am, again you're literally sitting in my backyard. MT, Mom, we should go. No, kid's name. He doesn't have the right to force us off of public land. Bill, my nice neighbor, puts his raft in here. It's public. Me, ma'am, I let Bill put his raft in here because he's my friend. I don't know you. This goes on for a bit, and I'm getting pretty annoyed. I look over, and one of the BKs is trying to dig a sprinkler head out of the ground, so I tell the kid to stop it. This apparently does it for her. You can't yell at my kids, blah, blah, blah. The poor teen's giving me the, I'm so sorry, man. She's insane look. Finally, I say, look, lady, you need to go before I call the sheriff. She gets right up in my face, you do that, and he'll explain that this is public because it's access to a navigable waterway. Oh, we're going to play lawyer, are we? Well then. Me, ma'am, I'm an attorney. Don't try to talk about property rights you don't understand. Trespassing, which you are currently doing, is pretty easy to understand and will land your butt in jail for 10 years. Side note, I am an attorney, but practice corporate antitrust law and know F-all about Colorado criminal law, but know very well what my property rights are. Finally, she relents, telling me that Bill will hear about this. He sure will. And she'll be contacting the HOA. We don't have an HOA. And that she'll be filing a complaint. With who? Yelp? I talked to Bill later. The lady is the ex-wife of a friend, and the teen is a friend of his daughter's and went rafting with them. She's apparently insane, and among other things, tried to have a ranch shut down near her new home because of the sound of the horses. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.